good, y'all? We have made it to the finale. This is the reunion. Well, we did the finale, but this is the reunion. This is the last episode of the season. This was good. I feel like everybody kind of clocked in. I feel like everybody did enough to get another season, even though I feel a lot of these people need to be replaced. But I feel like this was good. Like a lot of things got answered. Some things didn't, which pissed me off, but we'll talk about it. But I got a lot of notes. Look at all these notes, y'all. I got a lot of notes to get through. So please thumbs up the video. Please drop a comment down below. Y'all did good last week. Last week, the video kind of like pulled some traction. And it got some new subscribers, so I appreciate it. I think we're probably going to get a season 3, so that's good. Come on back when the next season comes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. All right, so the cast, they're in the Bravo ClubHouse, which I know a lot of people were upset about, but I'm not even mad at it, honestly. At least for the first season, I'm not mad at the first reunion. I'm not mad at it because at least we got a reunion. We didn't get one last season when we needed one, and we got one this season, so I'm not mad about that. Next season, they do need to have an upgrade. Give them a set of their own, like put some money into it and put some more money into the show. But Andy welcomes him. He's pretty much asking how it feels to be engaged to Preston. Well, he's talking to Preston, asking him how it feels to be engaged. He's ready to get his ring so he can flash it off because apparently he's the one. Was he the one that proposed? I'm assuming he's the one that proposed because if anything, he would have the ring if he was the one that got proposed to. So that's where he's coming from with that. Andy pretty much says that he was going to ask if Noelle was nervous because he went down the line. She was next to Preston. And she was like, I'm excited to be here. Like her energy gave excited, not like nervous at all. She's ready to shine. Nick looked clean as fuck. Out of all the men on the cast, Nick was the best dressed. Hands down. Hands down. He talks about how he had ran in the London and Boston marathons 1 week apart. That's hard as hell. That's hard as hell. I love to run, but I don't like running distance. So for him to do 2 marathons back to back within a week, that's crazy. But Summer, she's most looking forward to clearing the air with everybody to where they can at least coexist. Like if they're not even going to be best friends, she just wants to get it to a point where there's no drama, no beef. She also had heard Noelle make a side comment saying that they were good. Like Noelle was like, I thought we were good. And Summer pretty much said we're not. And it's funny that Noelle said that because watching the rest of this reunion, it's clear they weren't good. So I was like, what is Noelle getting at there? Jasmine, we get to Jasmine. Baby Silas is doing good. Bria got Milo in Germany with Simon. I love that for Milo. Like, he's probably loving it too. Like, get some time away from Bria. Bria's annoying. But Jordan, her number 1 turn-up song is Back That Ass Up by Juvenile. We find out that he got her blocked on Instagram. That's random. Like, that's so random. Shanice, Andy talks about how she looks beautiful, and then he throws it back to Summer. Andy was being shady the whole time, but this is funny. He threw it back to Summer, talking about something. Doesn't she look good? She looks good, right? Summer said, yeah, she does. She looks very beautiful. It's funny because we're going to get to something very funny later on. Summer was funny. But Amir... Andy asked if Natalie has fully cut his penis off, as he kind of alluded to pretty much the whole season. Everybody started gasping, and he's talking about, no, it's still there. And then Alex apparently got advice from John Legend and Chrissy Teigen about coming to the reunion. Whatever. Now we get to the good stuff. Andy opens the floor, starts off with Noelle, Summer, and Alex. A little love triangle situation going on. Andy then asked Alex after they showed the montage, like, who ended it between him and Summer? And was it like a ghosting situation or was it like a gentle, like, ease out, I'm backing out of this? Alex said that they communicated. He communicated that it just was not it. Summer says that's a damn lie. Like, it literally fizzled out. She said the last time they saw each other when he dropped the fuckboy comment. He immediately interjects, says, no, I never said that. And he said the question was for him, a.k.a. taking the question back to him so he can answer because Summer was about to take over. He said they talked about the last time that they hooked up. He said that he had told her that he wasn't interested in anything more, and he thought that they were good going into the rest of the season, or at least going into the summer. And Andy throws it back to Summer and asks, like, did you think that y'all were good leaving? And she said yes. That is a lie because we all know how she came into the season this season. Because Alex came in there genuinely, like he said, thinking that they was good, like coming up trying to hug her, and she was like stiff arming him and just like giving him the cold shoulder. So Summer was lying there. But Andy then reads a fan question saying why Summer felt the need that she needed to tell the house that Alex had been inside her at the table, but failed to mention it to her friend, aka Noelle, who had interest in him. And Summer says that she did say that, but Noelle immediately interjected and said, "No, you didn't." They start going back and forth, talking over each other. I'm like, oh, it's tension between these two for real, for real. And Noelle was like putting her foot down because Summer, you know how Summer is. When she gets to going, she gets to going. And for the most part, nobody really challenges her. Maybe Jordan would be the only one, but nobody really challenges Summer. Noelle all season, you could tell Noelle was just trying to like let Summer have her moment and like figure things out because you could tell Summer or Noelle knew that Summer was going through something and she didn't want to kind of like add fuel to the fire. Noelle's over that shit. Like she's standing 10 toes when it comes to Summer this time. But Summer ends up telling her, like, let me finish. And Noelle said, okay, well, stop lying. Andy then interjects to tell them pretty much let Summer say her piece. So Summer then says clearly it was a miscommunication. She said that the day before they came in the house, that's when she said, like, her and Alex had hung out. She just assumed that Noelle knew what she meant by that. And then says that Noelle said that she would never talk to a guy that her friends had previous dealings with, but then proceeded to do so. That is true. She did end up saying that, and she did end up still pursuing him, but we'll get to that. But then again, too, Summer saying like her telling Noelle that her and Alex hung out. You didn't specify exactly what the hanging out was, so I can see where Noelle would be confused too. But Andy said hanging out and having sex are two different things. Exactly. And asked her if she broke it down to Noelle, and Summer said, yeah, when she came into the room, which was after the fact. And Noelle said, exactly, like you told me after the fact. And then Summer then says, but you still proceeded to pursue him, which is true. And Summer said, and Noelle said, that's on me. Like, that's on me. And Noelle tells Summer to calm her energy down because Summer was getting hyphy. Like, she was really getting there. And Noelle was like, calm it down, bring it on down. Well, who did that? That bring it on down. I think it was Candy Burrs from The Real Housewives. That's what that reminded me of. But Noelle then says that she wasn't pursuing him. They were all in the house. And if they're going to flirt, they're going to flirt. Noelle, you was pursuing him. You came out your mouth and embarrassed yourself because you was pursuing him and he did not want it. But Andy then reads a question about how Alex is a fuckboy and pretty much asks the house, like, where's this coming from? Like, he's been respectful to y'all from what we can see, and he's been very clear on his intentions, which is true, and Jasmine agreed. Now, he's not a fuckboy, and Summer disagrees. She said Alex specifically said that she wouldn't lie on anybody and just make that up. Alex said that he never said that he said that. Like, he never said that he said that he was a fuckboy. And he said if it was true and he was leading that way and telling her that, he could have been a fuckboy with Noelle. And the way he said it, I died laughing. But the way he said it in the moment, it came off so wrong. And everybody else was like, damn. Like, he basically was saying Noelle was easy. Well, the way it came off was like that. He's pretty much saying Noelle was on my body and I could have easily given it to her. But what he was really trying to say is like, Noelle is beautiful. And that's what he said too after the fact. He was like, she's beautiful. Like, she was actually on me. If anything, I could have went for it because I knew that she wanted me. So that's essentially what he was saying. It just didn't come off right. And Noelle was like, damn, you trying to call me easy? But Andy then brings up Summer taking a picture of him and sending it to Jordan and asks who sent it to him, talking about Alex. And Alex said, nobody sent it to me, but Nick called me asking me, like, what are you doing with Summer right now? And he knew something happened because he never told him that he was with Summer at that moment. And he said it was creepy. The creepy part was like sending the pictures and stuff. But Jordan said she didn't think it was creepy that they took the picture because they knew each other. And Andy brings up how Alex was on Watch What Happens Live, saying that Summer had left him a ton of voice notes like a crazy ex-girlfriend before her appearance when she got on there and trashed him. Summer said she left one voice message. This pissed me off because Shanice interjects talking about well, I'm glad I'm not the crazy person anymore. You are still the crazy person. Even after Summer's all of what Summer deals with and what she's done, Summer's she got an anger problem. Like, she tends to just misdirect her anger. She's not crazy. You're the one. You are crazy. You are. But what pissed me off was that Andy literally stopped it there because Shanice's comment took precedence over what she was about to say. We didn't even get a chance to hear what she said in the voice note. We didn't get to hear she was going to elaborate on that. And Andy moved on from that. I was pissed, but he wrapped it up asking Alex and Noelle if they ended up hooking up, and they both said no, they're friends. And Summer and Noel, they're cordial, but they're not friends. So Andy then diverts to Amir. Says Natalie says she would cut his dick off if he strayed and asked if she trusts him. Amir is delusional because he gets on here saying that she does trust him. He gets on the reunion saying that she does trust him and that was his way of trying to be funny. And she wouldn't give him the time of day if she didn't trust him. That's bullshit. She don't trust you. Because Andy even said it too. He was like, the way she been acting on the show, it's clear she don't trust you. And the girls was like, every last girl up there was shaking their head like, yeah, she don't trust you. Because she's insecure. And she's like, when it comes to you and your relationship, if she trusted you, she wouldn't be on the show acting the way she did. You literally mentioned Jordan's name and she flipped out. That tells me she don't trust you. She's jealous. And she's insecure. But he's talking about how they're building trust because she's not there. She doesn't know how he's behaving. They've only been together for a year. And Andy brings up how she was saying, like, how she brought up how she makes what Amir makes in a year, in a month, and how that came off disrespectful to him. And his dumb ass sitting there talking about something he doesn't mind it because he chose to be with a powerful woman. That's not the point. Andy said the point is most men would find that emasculating. I would find that emasculating. If I'm with somebody, especially if I'm with a woman and she's literally making more money than me and she goes out here in my group of friends and starts bragging about the fact that she makes more money than me and makes more money than what I make in a year, in a month, that didn't need to be said. Like, you could tell she was literally going there to belittle him. When she said that, she was trying her best to make him seem like he was beneath her. And for his dumb ass to not see it, I will never see it for Amir. Amir is a loser. Like, he is a loser. And all the girls agreed. Like, that was emasculating. But Andy then asked the group who feels Natalie is right for Amir. Nobody raised their hand immediately. Jasmine was like hesitating, and then Bria and Shanice raised their hands a little bit. Shanice said that she thought that they was cute, but she doesn't know if she's the right one for him. And Amir and Natalie, we find out they're still together, obviously. And they're closing on the house that they just purchased. They've been together for a year and a half. And the house is in his name and she's on the title. Andy's being messy, talking about, well, what could go wrong? We all, like, they started laughing. I was laughing. And he then also asked, messy again, just being messy. He said, do you have a ring? And when has Natalie instructed you to propose? I died laughing. Like, that shit was so funny. And then Amir ends up saying that we've agreed that whenever the time is right, it'll happen. I guarantee you, if Amir's not back next season, fingers crossed he's not, I give it a year. Natalie will be gone. Natalie is with Amir to be on TV. And he's too stupid to see it. But Noel then asked why he told Natalie, which I'm so happy she did, because I don't know if Andy would have asked it. But Noel said, why did you tell Natalie that all the girls was going crazy over you? Everybody on that stage was dumbfounded. They all started laughing. It was just like, what? Like, what? And Preston was like, I'm the one that was more crazy over you than they were. And Amir is sitting there the whole time this is happening. He's uncomfortably fidgeting. And that's how you know he done got caught up. And he says that he was told that Shanice was trying to fuck him. And Shanice said, just because I said I wanted to have sex with you did not mean I was shooting my shot. That is true. But Andy then pivots to bringing up how Summer had gotten into it with damn near everybody on the cast. And how she left the summer early, which was not early. It was like, 2 days before they left. After self-reflecting and knowing that she needed to leave the house to kind of like get her life back in shape. He then brings up how she was dealing with a lot of this and how she was dealing with a lot of this shit, and she was dealing with a lot of stuff that had been going on in her life that she hasn't really addressed, and how it ended up trickling on into her friendships, which started to mess it up. After watching it all back, Summer starts getting emotional. She breaks down because he asked her how she's doing today, and that's when she... Like, when you ask somebody how they're doing and they trying to keep it all together, that's just like the immediate cue, waterworks. And that's what happened. Everybody else was sitting there kind of like awkwardly silent. That's how I am, low-key. When people cry around me, I don't be knowing how to act. But the way they was acting was the way I was. But I was like, at this point, just get up and go hug her. But she says she's doing better, but it's just hard to watch it all back, which I'm pretty sure it is. She probably was embarrassed. But she says she doesn't want to make excuses. She hurts people when she's hurting, and she knows that's not okay. She says that it wasn't necessarily Preston and Jordan that were hard. It was just the fact that they all were going through a lot of hard things. She just did not know how to ask for help. I relate to her on that. When it comes to certain things that I deal with it internally. I don't feel like asking people for help. It's not even about not feeling like it. I just can't do it. I don't like feeling like a burden, and I don't feel like I need to depend on somebody to kind of pick me up, which is where I can see where she was coming from. Andy then asks and says a lot of your anger was directed onto Bria and asks how they're doing. She says, we're doing good. Andy also then brings up how Noelle said it was hard to rebuild friendships once trust is broken and they don't follow each other on social media, and asks, are they in a place to rebuild? Noelle says she's cool with how things are. She said, believe people when they show you who they are. That is true. She said that she told Summer, she knows that we started off rocky, but just be open with me. And Summer said, I couldn't even do it with the two people that I'm closest with. What makes you think I'm going to be able to do it with you? That is true. She couldn't even do it with Jordan and Preston. I see why she wouldn't do it with Noelle, because they came into the house as friends, but they are clearly coming into the house. They weren't as close of friends. They just were freshly new friends. But Andy says, now that y'all are in a better spot, can y'all start over, essentially? And Alex says, he butts in and says, is it possible to go through a rough time and still treat people decently? Duh, everybody agreed. And I was with Summer. Summer's yeah, of course it's possible, but how people deal with certain things that it's kind of subjective to what they're dealing with in their life, which is true. I'm not giving excuses for people that lash out when they're going through things, because of course there are ways that you can try and manage it. But I understand, because when I'm stressed out, I'm not the nicest person to be around. When I'm stressed out, I do kind of lash out on certain people. That's why I try to seclude myself. So when she's acting the way she does, I can empathize with her in that situation. I truly can. But Andy brings up why Jordan had accused Summer of airing out her alopecia stuff to the house when essentially everybody already knew. Jordan said, I don't know if everybody even knew, and I don't think they knew. And Jasmine kind of clarified that when she was on Watch What Happens Live, how she said that she knew, but everybody didn't know. I still don't believe Summer aired it out. For at least from what we saw on the TV, she didn't say anything about it. She just said that she was literally taken up and being there for Jordan while she was going through a rough time. But Jordan then talks about how she's had some regrowth, but now she's going through another flare-up. She started treatment, so she's going to see how it goes with her hair growth. And Andy thanks her for raising awareness. Noelle talks about how it's important to talk about this stuff in the Black community specifically, because with Black people, especially Black women, hair is very important. It's kind of like identity, low key. It's true. In the Black community, it is. So Andy then asked Summer why she didn't feel she could share her struggles with Jordan and Preston the way they did with her. Another relatable moment to me. Summer said that she's had people leave. She's become vulnerable and shared certain things about herself with people, and they ended up leaving her. She feels restraint from allowing herself to be fully vulnerable with certain people, because you got to build that trust and hope that they stay. Certain people just leave and get up out of your life, and you done told them everything and they're gone. And who's to say they won't use it against you, like she said. So I completely related to her on that. But she then talks about how Preston had told her that he's not going anywhere, and whenever he did that, she kind of broke down, because he just made her feel good, because she's never heard that before. And she said that Preston is the love of her life. Jordan is too, but they're having a moment right now, but she loves her to death. So they were in a rocky place. I don't know if they still are, but on the show, it looks like they were. But she still loves her to death. I feel like they will find their way back to each other. We also find out that Summer actually found out that the dude that she was looking at on Facebook is in fact her actual biological father. And she got the closure that she needed. Andy asked her, are you trying to build a relationship with him? She's like, no, I got what I needed. I just needed to know who it was. She got her closure. She said she's got a great grandfather, great stepfather, and an uncle. She doesn't feel like she's missing that father figure, so she doesn't need it. But Andy then asked her as well, would you spend another summer with this group? And she said, yeah, in small doses. I wouldn't do it with everybody. So we then move on to another fan question where Andy reads pretty much addressing Preston, shading Bria on Watch What Happens Live, asking, do you really genuinely like her, or are you just tolerating her to make her happy? Preston said that he genuinely loves her, but he feels they always get to a good place and then somehow it ends up being back on some rocky terms. He's currently blocked by her on social media. It happened 2 days before they got on Watch What Happens Live. He said that Bria does annoy him, but he looks at her like a sibling. People just won't understand their relationship, but the two of them. And he said that he wants to figure out the relationship, even if it ends up being not a relationship. They don't have a relationship. I agree with him on that. There's a lot of people that I love dearly that annoy the fuck out of me. And there's you can literally have people in your life that just irritate you. A lot of people irritate me too, and I'm pretty sure I irritate a lot of people too. But at the end of the day, I still have love for those people. But Bria says that she always wants to make it work with him. And Andy asked if you will unblock him. And she said, once we resolve our issues, yeah. So she then says that the shade was there from the beginning, flashback to last season when he was literally talking about how she is like a pageant queen that tries to dress. She tries to dress like a pageant queen, but just doesn't always get it right. And she took that as shade, which it was shade. But Preston said that he feels that that's kind of unfair because they're only taking into account what happens during filming, not everything else that happens outside of that. He brings up how when she got arrested at the south of France, and she had called him crying, and they cried on the phone together, and he had gotten international law attorneys to actually help her out. And it wasn't filmed. He didn't tweet about it. He didn't feel the need to like broadcast all that stuff. He said, there's just a lot of things that I just genuinely do for you. Because if he would have went on social media and been like, yeah, I got her all this and all that, he's doing that for clout. He's shown that he's being genuine. He said that he's done a lot for her. It just wasn't filmed. She says that, yeah, he checked in, but when they film, it's a different story. Person says it's a big thing when I supported you from France when Simon was actually there and he did nothing. Like, he didn't support you. Bria said, yeah, but he did, but he's the one that bailed me out of jail. Preston said, but you never said thank you to everything that I did. They're just going back and forth. And she swears that she did. Andy then diverts the Tribeca stuff. I'm glad he brought this up. The Tribeca soulmate. Bria said that he's in the past and Simon laughed about it. Okay. Andy said, is it a red flag that you said that you would marry Simon even though he's not your soulmate? And Jasmine was like, I can see how he would be upset about it. And because it's kind of hurtful. Like, it makes you seem like, damn, like, I really am not your person. And Bria was sitting there saying, like, you can still marry somebody even though they're your person, but not your soulmate. But I'm like, is that your person and your soulmate supposed to be your person? That's my thought process, but maybe not. But Andy then brings up a rumor that he had heard from the members of the cast, or at least heard about the members of the cast, feeling like Simon is using her for clout. She says that he's a multimillionaire and he doesn't have to do it, but he likes her life on TV because they don't have that type of stuff in Germany. Andy says, but is that not using you for clout? It ain't got nothing to do with how much money he got. He likes the attention that you get on TV. That is clout. But Andy then asks the group if they want to enlighten her on their thoughts, and they all like jump to speak. And Amira eventually ends up saying, like, everybody essentially has already told her how they feel individually about it. But Jasmine said that she had talked to Bria's mom about it, and her and Bria's mom agreed that Simon just loves the attention in the most inappropriate times. Andy then pivots to Jasmine. Jasmine been in the house all summer without Silas, and she's been pregnant. They show the flashback. Of course, she gets emotional watching it back. She says they're happy tears. He then reads a question from a fan who asks who was the least supportive about her pregnancy before and after birth. She said, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't pissed off about Jordan's comments about the pregnancy with Silas. That rude and distasteful comment that she did make. I don't even like Silas, but it was shady. It was disrespectful, especially for somebody that you're supposedly best friends with, or at least were best friends with. And Jasmine said that her and Jordan had pretty much talked it out, and she appreciates Jordan taking accountability for it, but they still got a path to walk on. Like, they talked about it, but Jasmine clearly still is not okay with it, which I'm not mad at her because I wouldn't be okay with it either. But Jordan says that's a part of her sense of humor, stating it, she didn't mean it as a dig and she's sorry. Jordan, you clearly meant that as a dig. I see what your sense of humor is, but you meant that as a dig. Like, you meant that. You can't switch that up. You cannot. But Jasmine said it didn't cross your mind to bring it up to me, which to me, it made me think that Jordan only brought it up and discussed it when it actually happened on TV. She didn't even bring it to her attention whenever it happened, which would have been the right thing to do. Because at that point, sounds to me like Jasmine was blindsided when she watched the episode and saw it. Whereas if Jordan would have told her before it happened, Jasmine would have kind of probably turned a blind eye to it because you kind of already discussed it. But that's what happened. But Jordan said that she was coming at it from a lighthearted standpoint, which is why she didn't bring it up. But Shanice's irrelevant ass decides she wants to talk, saying that she does the same thing that Jordan does when it comes to like the sense of humor. Andy asked who had missed Silas in the house. Jasmine, Bria, Amir, and Alex were the only ones that raised their hand. Andy then asked Preston, like, why didn't you raise your hand? Like, Preston said, we haven't communicated. Like, he said, I'll take accountability for that because he's in a different country too, but there's not really a chance to really communicate, but we don't really have much of a relationship, so there's nothing to really miss. Andy then reads a question for the girls about why the rift between them and Jasmine happened. And Jasmine felt like it came out of nowhere. Jasmine was like, yeah, what's going on with that? And she said, good question. And I was glad they asked it. But Andy asked if they want to speak on it. Most of them girls sat there like this. So Summer, of course, was the first one to jump in. And Andy pretty much asked, like, Jasmine, who do you want to hear from? And Jasmine said, I want to hear from everybody because I would love to know who feels I need to be accountable for X, Y, and Z. Summer said, like, me and you, we had our disagreement. We resolved it. I then brought it to the group about having you come to Jamaica. And she said the first person to say no was Shanice. And then next was Jordan. Jasmine then said, did we have an issue? She's talking to Shanice. Shanice said nobody was getting along with you. And Jasmine said, why? Like, why exactly was nobody getting along with me? Shanice, you could tell Shanice is not used to confrontation because you could tell she was just stumbling over her words. She didn't really know what to do. She said that she didn't want her to come, and then there ended up being drama. Jasmine then turns her energy to Preston and says, like, what is your take on it? Because I'm the reason you met these girls. I'm the reason you know these girls. Which I see where Jasmine's coming from, but then again, as it trickled on, I'm going to finish. Preston said that doesn't mean that I can't have a relationship with them. Like, doesn't mean that the relationship has to still be the same. Preston said that he felt that question that Jasmine just directed to him was intentionally shady and meant to mean something else. And Jasmine said, yeah, it was. Like, Jasmine owned up to the fact that she had intentions of being shady when she asked that question. But Andy asked, at what point does his friendship stand on their own? And that's what I was getting ready to say. Like, I see where Jasmine's coming from, but then again, like, yes, you introduced him to them. But if he builds a friendship with them and it just kind of goes away from you, I mean, it is what it is. But I stand with Jasmine in this. I feel like a lot of them girls was just, I don't want to say jealous, but I feel like, I don't know, because Jasmine was weird last season. Jasmine, the way she was, we'll get to it. I'm jumping ahead. But Jasmine, she says that he's a grown man. She looks at him as like the mutual party of the house, which is why it was hurtful, because she felt like as somebody who stood in her wedding, he should have checked on her about her relationship with the girls. And Preston said, like, I knew that you was not cool with them in this moment. I knew that you kind of had like a rift between them. So let's not reinvent history because it's convenient to the moment that we're having right now. Andy then moves on to why Jordan is really mad at Jasmine. This is going to get back to what I was about to say. Jordan said that she was confused about how she felt with Jasmine because when she was with Jasmine last season, she felt like she wasn't seeing a real her. She felt like it was phony. She said she felt like she was trying to basically sell her to Amir to try and matchmake, which I see where she was coming from, because last season that irritated me too. Like, it seemed like Jasmine was trying to get everybody together because she was together with Silas. And I see it's coming. I mean, it's obviously coming from a good place, but like sometimes it is too much trying to matchmake everybody. But Jasmine said that she wanted to address the inauthentic comment. And she said that sometimes people meet you at certain points in your life where your life is changing and you're changing, which is true. And she said it's not always easy for somebody to adjust because she's constantly evolving, which is true. Because like Jordan, I don't know how long of a friendship they've had, but the way it sounds is like her and Jordan kind of met when she was getting married to Silas. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base, but that's the way I'm taking it. But now that she's married, now has a kid, there's a lot of stuff happening quickly. So maybe that's why Jordan feels like she doesn't know who Jasmine is, because Jasmine's still kind of adjusting to who she's becoming. Like, she's now a married woman. She's now a mother. There's a lot of things that are changing in her life, and she's got to figure out where she is while this stuff is happening. Like, she's got to still find Jasmine at the end of the day. But Jasmine pretty much says, what I want for the two of us going forward, I want to continue to check you when I feel like you're being aggressive and short with me. And I want the same thing vice versa. And Jordan agrees. So I'm like, good. Y'all finally kind of like, but it's always Jasmine, the one that's giving more. Jordan is always the one just like either agreeing or disagreeing. She's never really taken that extra step. I feel like Jasmine is giving more to the friendship than Jordan is, which I can't stand friendships like that. But then we move to the Nick Hansy segment. Andy asked Nick about how his behavior, like, has it changed since watching everything that's happened? And Nick says, yeah, it's been reflective. Like, watching it back, he feels like it's kind of like, wow. And he said everybody knows the intent when he was touching Jordan and Summer. It wasn't meant to be inappropriate. And Andy asked Jordan if she knows that that was the intent. And she said, like, it's more so about him just being in a relationship, which I can see where she was coming from with that. But Nick said, like, that's fair. Like, he said, like, he didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong. And then Andy ended up asking him after watching the playback, did he see, like, what they were talking about? And he said, yeah, I see it. And it did make me uncomfortable watching it. So Andy then brings up the question for Bria, Shanice, and Noelle, asking if they knew that Summer and Jordan had already addressed the situation with Nick with the handsy stuff. They stated no, and Noelle said that they thought that he was just unaware because, at this point, they just thought that he was just unaware of the handsy stuff. But it was just girl talk, and it was never meant to get back to him or get back to Tasia. Summer then asked when Natalie said that she would go talk to Tasia about it, what did y'all say? All three of them set their asses up there and lied and told them that they said no, don't go tell her. They never said that. Y'all didn't say anything, and that was the problem. Y'all didn't say yes, go do it. Y'all didn't say no, don't go do it. Y'all just sat there when she asked the question and didn't say nothing. So that's a lie, and that's why I don't want to say that's why Natalie went and brought it, because I feel like Natalie still would have brought it to Tasia regardless. But y'all didn't help the situation. Y'all could have told the bitch no, don't do it, and then we wouldn't have been upset watching it back. But Bria said that she felt like in that drunk state, Nick would fuck anybody. And Nick said, what makes you think that? Like, what have you seen me do that would make you think that that would happen? And he brings up how Bria was asking him to come take a nap upstairs for that, what she call it, sleep support. And he said that could have happened then when you asked it. So what you talking about? Bria said, but it was sleep support. And Nick said, yeah, I thought it was a joke. So is that not what that was? Nick said, so now you're saying that it's something that I would do. So stand on it. I want you to stand on it. Like, Bria was trying to fold low key. But Bria says the boat day, there was a lot of touching. Nick said, that's new information to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's new information to me too, because we never saw it. But Bria says that if she was single and she wanted to try it, she feels like Nick would be down to do it. And Andy ends up asking if Nick and Tasia are still together. Nick says, no, they're not. They decided to go their separate ways. They have their own goals, and they feel it's best to do them separately. Andy then asks if he feels that she embarrassed him or that he embarrassed her on TV, and if that was a part of the conversation whenever they were deciding to go part ways. And he said, yes, I do feel like I did embarrass her. And he said it also was a conversation that was a part of the conversation, but it was not the straw that broke the camel's back with their relationship. And he then asked Amir, when he brought Natalie, did he expect her to be the bone collector? He said no. Noelle said, what did she say? Noelle said Natalie also commented on how everybody was acting towards Nick. And Bria said that if that was Amir, it would be a problem. That's what Bria said that Natalie said. Bria said that Natalie said if that was Amir that was acting the way Nick was, it would be a problem. So Andy then asked, like, what is your reaction to Natalie's involvement to Amir? Or to Nick? Nick says that he thought it was strange that she even involved herself in everything, because clearly she found her way into the mess. Amir's bitch ass gonna get on here and say she didn't want to be a part of the drama. She didn't do that. She didn't want to be a part of Noelle, Summer, and Bria all jumped in and said that's a lie. Because it is. She knew what she was doing. Like, she knew what she was doing. And Amir is so dumb. Like, he literally sits there and tries his best to, like, shield her. Just shield her. And I wonder, not to bring race into it, but I wonder if his girlfriend was black, would he have all this, like, cape-like energy for her? I don't get Amir. I truly feel like Amir does not want to be black. I do. I genuinely feel that. But Noelle said that your girlfriend is messy as hell. I said, exactly. She messy as fuck. And Amir claims that that wasn't the best situation for her to do. So he kind of acknowledged it in the moment. And then he turns around and says that she wanted to come in and get to know everybody, but she fell into something thinking that she was doing good. No, she did not want to come in and get to know them. She came into that house judging everybody. She came into that house stank, and they all knew it. But Noelle said, but she went around spreading lies. So did she really want to get to know us? No, she didn't. Amir said, well, she was just playing the game of telephone like we all do in this house. Difference is, y'all know each other. She don't know them folks. They don't know her. Noelle said, but no, she involved herself in shit that did not concern her. I said, bingo. Bingo. She kept asking to go back and say shit and made sure to include the three of them girls, but purposely exclude herself from the conversation, purposely exclude herself from the involvement. Then it blew up in her face. And when it blew up in her face, she was sitting there mute. I said, thank you, Noelle. Thank you. I'm glad you actually came to the reunion and actually held her accountable because nobody did it when y'all was filming. But she said, Amir, you let her literally get up here and assassinate us in front of everybody over a rumor that was her fault. She's the one that literally brought that shit out of here and turned it into a story. And Noel said that they knew that she would deliver the words the way that she did, which is why they didn't want her to do it. But then again, Noel, y'all should have told her, no, do not fucking open your mouth. But Andy then asked he asked Amir if Natalie wants to come back. And he says, kind of, she didn't like the way she's perceived and wants to set the record straight. I'm sure she don't like the way she's perceived because she looks like a racist on the show. She looks like she don't like black people because the way she was acting at the Freaknik, when they just in there just having fun, she acting like, ew, like this is weird. I don't want to be here. The way she acts when she was around them folks, especially when she first got there, she acted like she was better than black people. And we all caught on to it because if you went and looked at her Instagram comments, when all this stuff was happening, I was actually one of the first ones to look in the comments before she limited them hoes. She was limiting them comments because she was getting torn up in them comments because people was calling her ass out. And it was calling Amir out. And I'm glad he actually didn't limit his comments. So you can see everybody calling his ass out, saying the same shit I just said. But he said it would it's up to us to allow her to do that, aka it's up to the fans that watch the show to give her a second chance, and it's up to Bravo to give her a second chance to come back. No, thank you. We don't want her back, and we don't want you back. She don't need to be on TV, and if she is going to be on TV, put her on the actual Summer House, the show with people like her where she actually will feel comfortable. She don't feel comfortable around black people, and we don't want to watch her on a show that is primarily about black people. Well, it's not primarily. It's about black people on the Vineyard. So, Amir, if you don't want to be here, go over there with the people that you used to being around, the people that you want to be around. Let's keep it real. But Nick said, not me getting out. Nick said that if she really wanted to get to know people, she needed to actually get in here and actually have a conversation with people instead of sitting around talking about people. I said, thank you, Nick. Thank you. But Andy then asked about the Nick tattoos at the Freaknik, asked how them DMs was looking. Nick said that he ain't even gotten through them all. So he can actually go through them DMs and actually see if he finds somebody that he actually likes since he's actually single. But the girl stated that he should get tatted. Summer said at least like one little neck tattoo would be cool. Andy then asked Summer, this was funny. This is where we ended. Which Summer, I was on Summer's side with this. Summer was cracking me up. Andy asked Summer if she regrets throwing Shanice's name out when they had that game about her being the worst dresser. Summer stood on business. Summer said no. And I died laughing. She said, that's my preference, which she's not lying. That is her opinion. If she feels like she's the worst dresser, that's her opinion. Like, that's the way she feels. She said, I didn't say it was because she couldn't afford the clothes, which is true. Just because you can't afford clothes or don't have enough money does not mean that you still can't put stuff together. Like, if you know how to dress, you know how to dress. You can make some of the shittiest looking clothing look nice if you know how to dress. Andy said, but that was the implication to Shanice. Summer says she gave her the opportunity to actually go get some clothes. And Andy says, like, did it give you pause knowing what she was going through, the fact that she was struggling for money because she didn't have a job? Summer said, but when she had the money, when she went on Watch What Happens Live, I didn't like that shit either. I fucking lost it. When she said that, I died, and then they showed the clip back because I didn't watch the episode, but they showed the picture of what she wore, and it was ugly as fuck. So she was not lying, and Summer stood on it. But Shanice then pipes in and says what made her feel like shit was the way that she said it. Like, she didn't, when Amir asked the question, she didn't even pause. She like immediately said it was Shanice. She wasn't lying. Shit. Like, she was not lying. But Shanice then says the next day, what was funny, the next day you came asking to borrow my sweater. And then Shanice said, bitch, if I'm the worst dressed, then why don't come asking me for nothing? Summer says, I came and asked you because I know how to parry. You don't. I said, let's end it right now. Because Shanice don't know who she dealing with. Summer was killing her. But Shanice then said, like, the dress that you borrowed from me, or the dress that I borrowed from you looked better on me. Summer said, no, it didn't. So, like, Shanice was trying her best to come at Summer, but Summer was shutting her down. But it ended hilariously. The Brooke Ashley, I don't know, if you watching me, you probably watch her. Love the Brooke Ashley. I watch her all the time, whatever she's posting, even if I don't even watch the show, I watch her videos because she's funny. But they read her comment towards the end, and I remember her talking about it because I watch her reviews, and she was pretty much saying this in her review, but she sent the comment in, and he read it to the cast saying, like, Shanice, Brooke, Ashley, from New York had called or had wrote in saying, like, why do you brag about sleeping with men with high status and being with men with high status, but you on here crying about money? She said, no news or sex should go down if you can't even get the cash app from the men to go buy a Zara blouse. They died laughing and I hollered. It was hilarious. That was hilarious. But that was the end. Oh my God, 40 minutes. That was the end of season 2. The reunion, that's it. We are wrapped for season 2. I feel like the season was good. Even though they annoyed me, we had something to talk about every week. But I thank all of y'all for joining with me this season. Stay with me because hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a season 3 with a new cast, at least a lot of new people, singles preferably. But yeah, thank y'all so much. If you got this far and have not already, thumbs up the video for me, drop a comment, subscribe if you are new, turn the post notifications on. So whenever we do return, you'll be here when I get here. But I will see y'all next time. Peace.